Shane Murphy here, entrepreneur and restaurant marketing expert. Welcome to the Restaurant Rocket Fuel podcast, where we discuss marketing strategies that leading restaurateurs are using to grow and expand their restaurants. This podcast is sponsored by Boostly, the text marketing company that works with every point of sale and online ordering vendor in the industry. No contracts, no monthly fees. Learn more at boostly.com. Welcome back, everybody. We are super excited to have with us today Erik Shellenberger. He's the owner of the Bar and Restaurant Marketing Basics marketing agency. And for the last 20 years, Erik has been helping restaurants to increase their guest counts by making them easily found online and optimizing their search engine results while improving their online reputation. Erik, I am so excited to have you with us today. We're going to be talking about some fun new topics that we haven't discussed on the podcast before. So thank you for joining us and sharing your story along the way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out.
Awesome. Now, maybe Erik, to kick things off before we dive into the juicy strategies here, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and your marketing agency as well?
Yeah, so I've been in the bar restaurant industry basically my whole life. I started as my mother owned the food and beverage department at a ski resort in Park City that she threw me into child labor at 13 years old, and I worked for her and got a lot of experience doing that. And then when you're a snowboard bum in Park City, if you want a free season's pass, you have to work for the resort, but you make nothing. So then you have to work at restaurants at night. So I worked at restaurants on Main Street every day that I could. Got a lot of experience, everything from dishwasher all the way up to, manager, bartender, then marketing director. Ended up in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was the marketing director for 2 out of the 3 nightclub companies that run the entire entertainment district in Old Town Scottsdale, which is a really fiercely competitive market. I learned a lot there. I learned a lot of what to do, but I really learned what not to do. That was one of the biggest learning experiences I've probably ever had because it was that fierce and we were doing things so wrong. And so we'll get into the what we were doing wrong. But anyway, I decided that I saw the what wasn't effective, and I saw the flaws. And everybody that I worked with, let's be honest, they were children, and they said, "Well, our job isn't to." They didn't understand that marketing job is not to post on social media 4 times a month and walk away and go have a drink. Our job is to get more people in the club, and so nothing was measured, nothing was measurable that we're doing. It was just straight chaos. And so I said, you know what, lots of luck, see you guys later. I started my own business and I started SEO and reputation management, which are the 2 factors that bring new customers in the door. So that was instead of hitting the same guy over the head with social media posts 5 times a week, we're like, I get it, my God, we got unfollows all the time. And our numbers were going down as much as we were trying to promote social media. So when I started reaching out to new customers on behalf of my clients through Google and through all the search engines, all the review sites, Yelp, TripAdvisor, especially Google reviews, and we started tackling that angle, that's when you can actually measure it. You can see new people walking in the door, and it's a direct reflection of what we were doing. We could tweak the SEO, and then we can see the numbers on our Google business profile numbers rising of how many people saw us versus how many people hit the get directions button. All those clicks started going up in unison. So it doesn't really take a genius to figure out that was working. So anyway, I've been doing this. I've been in this business. I've had my business for about 7 or 8 years. And because of the books I wrote on Amazon, the series is called the Restaurant and Bar Marketing Series. It's a very boring title on purpose because it's a keyword. Everybody searches that word and they end up seeing my book. So I take my own advice. I put keywords into my books online. Because of those books, I've got nationwide clients now and from US into Canada. And I'm in the top 1% of Amazon book sales, which to me, my book sales aren't that impressive. I sell about 1 book a day. But as far as Amazon numbers go, 1 book a day for 7 years is astronomically good. Certainly. And I've run awards for the book series. It's a bestseller on Amazon. They're doing amazing. So I think I got everything in the question there.
I love that. That's fantastic. And so I saw your Amazon book series, and have seen a lot of comments and reviews on that. When you started doing this. I guess maybe beforehand, you mentioned how you do a lot with SEO, and a lot of restaurant owners might not be familiar with what SEO is. Can you explain a little bit of what SEO is and the different types of SEO that are important to restaurant owners?
Yeah, so SEO is search engine optimization. It's basically just getting you to the top of the Google search results for whatever that customer is typing in. So the back end of it is incredibly nerdy. It's incredibly complicated. I'm never going to bore your audience with the process of what you do to do this. That's on me. Nobody has to know anything that goes into how it's done. There's two different kinds, off-page and on-page. And what the difference is off-page is everything outside of your website content. Anything that has to do with a different directory, whether it's Yelp or TripAdvisor or Bing, which I'll get into this. Bing is actually a player because of ChatGPT. We'll get into that. And anything that is, every restaurant owner's gone through the same thing where someone will call them or someone will walk in the door and say, hey, do you know that Google or Apple Maps especially is showing we're closed today? And they freak out and, oh my God, what? And they didn't change it. It just changed. So that's the kind of thing that happens when your off-page presence isn't locked down, isn't synced, isn't done correctly, that it's the Wild West. And all those computers share information with everybody, all the rest of them. And they're all terrible at it. So if for some reason, it also, customers can make edits to our Google business page. I don't think the average person knows that, but a customer can actually make a suggested edit on our Google business page. And if we don't contest it, we don't even have to approve it. 7 days later, if the conditions are right, it's live. So
we've seen competitors suggesting edits on other restaurants in the area Google My Business pages, and that causes a lot of confusion.
Yep, it happens all the time, and every restaurant owner probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. And so that prevents stuff like that. It also makes sure if it's done through a service like mine or any off-page service, we sync all those directories together. So we make a change once, that change happens across the board on about 200 different directories. So your information's correct. It's all exactly the same. It matches. Google loves to see consistent information. They like to see thoroughness, every single field filled out, every single photo uploaded, the photos tagged correctly with the right words. Once you do all that stuff in a very structured, complete way, your Google ranking is going to be very much positively affected by it. Okay, the second type on page is everything that's internal to your website code. So all your content, all your formatting, all your code inside your website. And again, this is really, really nerdy. So the problem that most restaurant websites have, 99% of them, is a lack of content. So they don't have a lot of copy. There's not a lot of words. So Google can't figure out what it is. It knows you're pretty much a restaurant, but it doesn't know that if you're an Italian restaurant, a lot of people, welcome to blah, 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 Italian restaurant, the best Italian restaurant in this city. And that's it on the homepage. That's the whole intro. But it doesn't know that your ingredients are imported from Italy to make your pasta and your pizza. Your pasta's handmade on site, same day. Everything, you have authentic recipes that go back 100 years. And all this kind of stuff feeds into all these other keywords people are typing in. So it's so important to have a decent amount of content and have it optimized, have it in a format that Google wants to see. And the format that Google wants to see is very, very complicated, and it takes a lot of work to do it, and it takes a lot of time to do it, but it's drastically important for having an online presence. And I think that nobody really thinks about this front of mind is that the only job a website has to do, one job, bring customers in the door. That's it. So everybody gets a website and they scrutinize the details of what it looks like. Oh no, I don't like that color. Let's change it with this color. I don't like that picture. Change that picture out. This one. Put this picture over here. Let's make it 3 columns, not 2. This all of their focus goes. So they're so stressed about what it looks like, they don't have any copy to it. Because let's be honest, words are ugly. So they say, I don't like the look of that. Get rid of it. Now they can't be found on Google, or they're 20th on the list in a map search. You got to zoom in all the way on their location before they pop up. That's why, because Google's like, I don't even know what these guys have. It's such a mess. It's all over the board. It's incomplete. Forget it. Let's list everybody who did it the right way first. So I think that pretty much answers the whole 2 thing without getting too deep. I don't want to lose anybody.
No, that's great. And because a lot of people like they think, what is the job of my, a lot of people don't even ask the question, what is the job of my website? But when they do, sometimes they think, well, my website is what is going to deeply connect my existing customers to me. But really, if it's an existing customer, they're going there to click an order button or to maybe look at the menu right before going. But the purpose of that website, largely, you're going to get new traffic coming through all these digital storefronts. And there are like we run a lot of data in our company about web traffic to restaurants, and a typical like independently owned SMB restaurant is going to have thousands of visitors coming to their website every single month. They might only see 100 to 150 online orders from thousands of people who come, and little changes like this mean you're going to have more people actually seeing your site and actually coming in and ordering. But it is hard to do. It's hard for a restaurant owner to understand all the complicated things. And so that's very true. When SEO has changed dramatically over the last 6 to 12 months. And so there may also be people who have invested in SEO years ago, paid a company to help them jumpstart their website, and then stopped. How have things changed, and why is it important to keep optimizing it in today's world?
So Google changes its algorithm of what it wants to see all the time. It wouldn't be Google, and it wouldn't be the best without that. So they're always evolving. They're always putting what's important to them into different categories. I had to change my approach as a business owner drastically over the last 6 months. And so I used to focus mainly on off page, which is still important, don't get me wrong. But on page is now, it's more effective because of two things. Number one, most restaurants don't even try. So, most of your competition isn't even going to put an effort forth in SEO. They have a web guy design it. For whatever reason, web guys don't know SEO, and SEO guys don't know how to make a website. I don't know why, but that's usually the deal. So they'll give you a website that looks good. It's exactly what you asked for. Here you go. Here's the tabs. Here's what you wanted. There you go. Thanks. Perfect. And then their website doesn't rank. So if you do the bare minimum, you're going to beat most of your competitors out there. It's not that hard. And we're not, lawyers. Lawyers and the trades have the most fiercely competitive SEO competitions head to head all the time because they all put tens of thousands of dollars per month into them. We don't have to do that because our competition's nothing. So the huge game changer was about 6-8 months ago when AI programs started coming out that were AI SEO programs that were really easy for me to implement to a restaurant website, and more importantly, easy for the restaurant owner to understand the results. So before, if I had to go in there and manually SEO a site every single day or every single week, it would be thousands of dollars a month. That's in zero restaurants' budget. So that's not realistic. So a lot of restaurants got pitched by these SEO firms, these giant companies. They'd give them this big glossy presentation with 20 pages in it, with all these cool pictures and graphs and all that stuff. I've seen dozens and dozens of these over the years, and I got pitched them when I was on the other end of that. And I'm looking at it like, this is going to be expensive. And the more I look at it, like, okay, it's only like $4,000 a month, and we need a 24-month contract. It's like, are you guys out of your mind? So that used to be kind of the where we were with SEO. Now we can get it done with AI for a fraction of the price. So it's way below $1,000, way below $500 a month. So that's what we're able to do, and the results are the same. The results are really impressive. Not only that, when I can show a restaurant owner, when they can look at a report and understand it in 10 seconds, I don't even have to explain it. That's where you win. Because now they don't have to, most restaurant owners are not technical. I don't blame them. They don't expect them to be. So when they look at this 5-page report of analytics and demographics and all these charts, which is what I used to do, to be honest with you, that they would just be like, look, I don't even know what this means. I don't, and I'll explain it to them and it goes over their head. And so I got rid of that. I have a really basic keyword list with AI. Again, I can research my keywords. I can say, here's the top 20 or 30 keywords people are actually typing in to find us online. We're not guessing. we're asking Google and AI and ChatGPT. I use DeepSeek a lot too. Gemini is a really good one because it's Google's actual tool. So if you could say, hey, Gemini, what 20 top keywords do people type into Google to find this restaurant? And then how about my competitors? What do they type in to find them? So we can take that list and I can optimize their website around that list. So now when I'm sending a report, I can say, here's your 30 keywords. Here's where our rank was. We ranked number 40 on that word when we started. Then the week later, now we're at 30. Then a month later, now we're at 15. Now we're at 5. Now we're at 2. Now we're at, hopefully, if everything goes right, number 1. And that's all you have to understand. Where we were for the word, where we are for the word. That's it. So it's come a long way in restaurant owners really getting behind it because now they know where their money's going. It's not just like this innocuous report. They have no idea what they're even looking at. So that's been a huge help.
Amazing. And for a restaurant that's trying to measure the effectiveness, they know, hey, my rank has gone up. What are the other metrics that they're looking at to measure the success of like an on-page SEO experience?
You know what most of them do is, and this is just straight human nature stuff. Most restaurant owners will sit in their favorite table on their laptop and they'll Google words, and they don't know if there's any traffic to those words. They'll just Google restaurants near me, and if they're in their own restaurant, they better be number 1. But they'll Google things like, my barbecue clients are the biggest fans of this. They'll sit there and they'll Google best ribs near me, best ribs in my city name, and they'll for the most part, if we optimize the same words, then great. And they'll see their number 1. That's all they care about. If they're up there, but I also tell them that's kind of an unfair advantage because if you're sitting in your own restaurant, geographical location's number 1. So and obviously any near me search, but even if it's not a near me search, Google's going to take geographical location first. So you're going to be inherently number 1. That doesn't mean you're going to be number 1 for me sitting in Los Angeles, or for anybody else planning a trip to your city or in the outskirts of your city or 10 miles away from you, or depending on what device they're on, that's different results as well. So an iPhone, different devices, different results than a Samsung, different results than a PC or a Mac. It's all over the board. So it's really tough to say this is what it's going to be across the board, no matter what. It's not. And they're called organic search results for a reason. They're organic. They're up, they're down, they're all over the place. But instead of going through all those crazy criteria and all of the everybody gets a Google Business Page report every month, and it shows your monthly trend, but it's not a very good long timeline. So it'll show you the last 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is. But if you're coming from your on season to off season, of course it's going to go down, but it makes it look like, hey, we're losing traction. Why are we not getting as many Google hits? Well, that's just a market. So there's a ton of ways to measure it, but for our purposes, I would stick to the keywords ranking and be done with it.
Awesome. But I think you said one thing that's really important to just keep emphasizing. If you just do the bare minimum, you're going to beat out a majority of the competition because very few people actually do this. And it used to have this massive cost barrier where still, if you are a barbecue restaurant and you go and talk to a traditional SEO marketing agency, you're looking at $4,000 to $10,000 a month on a multi like either a 12+ month contract, because that's what they're going to say is this is a long-term strategy. We invest a lot, and this is gonna take 12 months to see results. And the world has changed in the last 6 months. 2025 is very different than 2024. And I love the approach that you're taking because everything you're saying is real, where a restaurant can go and implement these strategies for a fraction of the cost, and get faster results and see it very, very quickly compared to what you had to do in years gone by. But if you do the bare minimum, you're going to win. And winning in these Google searches and social and search engine searches is what is going to get people who are searching for categories and or even your restaurant to see you and actually come in. The guest count comes up as a result of this practice. Now, you also have a focus on reputation management for restaurants. Talk to us about why that is so important and what can owners do today to improve their online ratings?
Okay, so great question. So again, going back to, as this is opposed to social media. Social media, remember, is the old customer. It's a customer you already have. We're not concerned about that guy. What do the new customers do? If they're researching your area, Google reviews. That's it. So they're going on Google. If they may go to Yelp and read reviews, although they can just stick to Google, go to those reviews. And then here's the tricky part. A lot of times they'll go to Instagram and they'll look at your Instagram presence. They'll look at more photos on Instagram because I think it's easier to digest on a phone. So they'll go over there, check those out. But what happens a lot is, for the very few restaurants that actually train their staff to say, welcome in, where'd you hear about us? I wish they would all do that, because there's your marketing measurement right there. Rarely do they do that. But if they say that, a lot of these people say, oh, I saw you on Instagram. So now they're like, oh, social media is the best. But it's not, without Google being the catalyst, they never would have seen that social media page.
Yep.
So the catalyst is always Google. Now it's getting into some AI searches, but for the most part, that's where they start. So that type of thing is you're right. It's getting more and more important as we go. And I had a point here. Okay, so it's back to the review stuff. So here's an article that I saw recently that is pretty interesting. So Google, and some of this is old, but some of this is worth repeating. When it comes to reviews, Google only really cares about the last 90 days of reviews. So if you have a bunch of reviews in your history that are years old, Google doesn't care. But review volume really, really does help your SEO ranking. It helps everything. So the review volume is more important than the review rating. So if you've got the magic number is a 4.7. Anything above that, people assume the reviews are fake. So if you keep that 4.57, whatever, those are amazing. But keep the review volume up, keep them coming in, and keep those reviews. I would, if you're gonna have your staff ask the customers for reviews, I wouldn't go to Yelp, to be honest with you. Yelp are the complainers and just the crybabies, and Yelp is universally hated, I think. But steer them into Google and get that review volume up as much as you can and keep it as fresh as you can, because Google sees that as, well, this place has a lot of reviews, meaning it's probably got a lot of people in the door, meaning it's probably pretty popular. If people like it, I'm going to put it in front of more eyeballs so people can go to some place that apparently everybody likes. So the keywords in reviews has been a big topic recently, maybe over the last year or so. And the myth is that when people are, first off, if your restaurant will respond to all your reviews, respond to every single one of them, do it in a timely manner, the algorithm wants to see those responded to within 24 hours. So that's something I do if you don't have time. I get it. But when you respond to these reviews, you're responding to all of them. Don't just put out the fires and walk away. Respond to the positives. Thank them. Invite them back in the door. When you're the one, they write 10 reviews that month, that whatever time period, you were the one that said, hey, thanks so much. We appreciate you. We hope to see you back again. Everybody else ignored their 5-star review. Now, guess what? You're the good guy by a long shot.
You build brand equity at that point.
Yeah, it is. And even now go back to the new customer search. They're searching through Google and they're looking at different things and they're reading reviews from all these different places they're about to go walk in the door of. And it's like, okay, there's a response from the owner. There's his cell number. There's his email address. That guy cares. It's drastically different from, here's a bunch of 10-star reviews. The restaurant doesn't care. It appears that they don't care. There's not one thank you. There's not one nothing. So, going back to my point was, the keywords in reviews do mean a lot. So Google will word cloud your keywords, meaning it'll kind of put preference over the certain keywords your reviewers use. So, for example, if you had, let's go back to a barbecue joint. If you're a barbecue joint, you have the best pulled pork sandwich that they've ever had. It'll see in the review, this is the best, or some positive word next to the word pulled pork sandwich. Now that really, really helps your search engine ranking. If someone types in pulled pork sandwiches near me, then you're going to be likely, there's a million different factors, of course, but it's going to really help you being on top of that search. The inverse is true as well. Worst pulled pork sandwich I've ever had in my life. That's going to hurt you. So these keywords mean a lot in reviews, but the myth was that we need to put our keywords in our responses when we're responding to these, which that doesn't matter. Google doesn't care because we could just keyword stuff all day long in response, and it doesn't make any, it doesn't, not only does it not matter, but it sounds ridiculous. So keep the responses like you would talk. Keep them a natural language. Thanks so much. We appreciate the awesome review. We hope to see you back again soon. Thank you. Here's my name, title, email address, blah, blah. Leave it at that. But the reviews are being weighed on from Google and from all these search engines and from AI. The AI engines really do read a lot of reviews, and to determine if they're gonna, and if they'll say, you see, okay, Gemini, tell me what the best barbecue places within 5 miles of my location right now that have a 4.0 or better rating on Google. They'll break the whole thing down. It's not like links. It's just, here's a paragraph. Here's the ones I'd recommend. And one guy on Google said this was the best pulled pork sandwich he's ever had, blah, blah, blah. So it's going through all that stuff. And AI search is probably a whole other conversation, but it's becoming to be a real big deal right now. So,
yeah, a few months ago, I was in a room and we were talking about this very thing, and somebody, I guess we weren't talking about this. We were talking about, hey, where are we going to go to lunch? And everyone pulled out their phones and started looking. And one guy who had his computer screen up sharing, he literally just opened ChatGPT, typed it in, and that's how we picked. And that was my first exposure to consumers in the real world using AI programs to search for food and to search for the things that they're looking for. And it's becoming more and more commonplace. And these are all the things that the AI algorithms are going to be looking at. In addition to just, if someone types into Google, it's looking at these same things.
One of my big examples is create an FAQ page on your website and ask Gemini, what are the top 20 questions for a website, for a restaurant in my area people are going to ask. Take that whole list, fill it out, make it accurate, upload it to your FAQs. Now AI is crawling that list. So real quick. Anyway.
That's a great strategy. And that's something that you don't need an agency to do. You could do that today. Now, granted, there's a lot of additional things under the hood to make SEO really impactful that are complicated. And so, agencies can obviously help there, just like yours. But someone can go create an FAQ tomorrow. And that's a very tactical strategy. The other thing that you mentioned was the recency of reviews and how important that is. We have had so many people in my company where they're talking to us and they pull up on their Google listing, and we always have them open it up in incognito browser so that they're not using their local cache or their previous search history of searching their own restaurant to impact the results. They get to see what the consumer sees. And often they're asking, hey, I have 800 reviews, but I'm number 5 on the list, and the people right above me have 200 reviews, and I have a 4.9, but they have a 4.2 and less reviews. What gives? Why am I below? And a lot of it comes down to the recency of those reviews and how engaged you are in responding to those reviews. Google's algorithm is looking for recency because a restaurant may have changed management. You may have gotten feedback and acted on the feedback and made your operations better. And Google is learning that over time. And so you nailed it, that it is so important to have recent reviews and to keep getting new reviews. Some people, they hit a magic number and they just stop asking.
Yeah.
You need to consistently get it, and it pays real dollars because the largest digital storefront today is your Google business page.
Oh,
and
sure.
If you can influence traffic to that online storefront, you're going to get more people calling, more people ordering online, more people walking in. And like you said in the very beginning, you can see the traffic on your Google listing. And you will notice a difference if you implement these strategies that Erik is talking about. And so I would just highly recommend, this is a topic that many restaurateurs know reviews are important and that they need to be doing that, but how it plays into SEO and how to impact your SEO is something that can't be understated, especially in today's world where dynamics are changing. And so, before we wrap up, what's the best way for people to follow you and your content and to learn about your marketing agency as well?
So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Erik Shellenberger, and it's Erik Shellenberger, no C's, all E's, if that makes sense. Erik, no C in the last name. Anyway, I'm on my YouTube channel. Is just search either Bar Marketing Basics or Erik Shellenberger. I'm most active on my YouTube channel. I have a podcast as well, and it's on all the podcast platforms. So whichever one you like, it's called the Restaurant and Bar Marketing Podcast. Really, really basic on purpose. Here's something I want to make sure all your listeners know, and it's a really, really cool free tool that if you go to barmarketingbasics.com, I have a website scanning tool. So it's right on the homepage, or you can click the button, scan your restaurant, put your own URL in there, scan your restaurant, and it'll tell you how well off you are from an SEO perspective. It's an A through F grade that it'll say, you're really good with your links are great. Your speed is terrible. Your social media presence is not good. Your on-page SEO could use some help. It'll give you all those grades. So you know exactly where to start. If you want to do it yourself, by all means, you can. A lot of it's more complicated than most people want to get into, but the scan tool, it kicks it back to you in 30 seconds, and there's no, you have to talk to me about this before I'll give you the scan. Just you type it in, there it is. It's really simple, and it's very eye-opening to know either how good or how bad Google sees your web presence. So that's where I would go, either my YouTube or barmarketingbasics.com.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd recommend everyone check out barmarketingbasics.com. Check out that free scan. See what the universe tells you needs to be fixed. You might be doing great. You might have some room for work. So it's good to know where you stand. And I imagine you could look up the people around you to validate what Erik is talking about.
100%. Yeah, test your competition also. See what they're doing.
Yeah, most people don't do anything. So if you do the bare minimum, you can win.
That's right.
Erik, thank you for coming on today. This was fantastic. We'll send everybody your way, and appreciate you coming on.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Restaurant Rocket Fuel. And thank you to the amazing restaurateurs that work so hard to provide an amazing guest experience for our communities. Again, this podcast is sponsored by Boostly. To see how we can drive more revenue to your business, visit boostly.com. Don't forget to subscribe and go out there and maximize the potential that you and your business have in front of you.